How do? My name is Andrew Hancock and I am a VMware technical architect from Yorkshire in the United Kingdom. I have worked with VMware since their birth in 1998, so that has been over 24 years I have been working with the VMware product catalogue. Some of my close colleagues say if you cut Andy in half, it reads VMware like a stick of rock from Blackpool. I have now written 134 articles and recorded 30 hours of VMware vSphere videos for Experts Exchange and received 40 Experts Exchange awards over the last 10 years working with the Experts Exchange community. I am currently the overall #1 point earner in the Hall of Fame at Experts Exchange. I am honoured to have been accepted into the VMware vExpert program since 2011 and more recently made a VMware vExpert Pro for the last 3 years. So welcome back to another edition of Hancock's VMware Half Hour, and season greetings to you as we on the countdown to the big day in 22 days. Okay, or happy holidays if you don't celebrate Christmas. Okay, so in this video I'm going to show you how to install your second Linux virtual machine on VMware vSphere Hypervisor 8, ESXi 8, and we're going to use Ubuntu server. So I'm going to get straight in. So again, I'm using our lab, which is based on ESXi 8 and vCenter Server 8. And I've turned off Ubuntu Desktop and I've turned off the other two servers because of, I think, possibly lack of resources in this particular lab. But anyway, so again, I'm just going to click the data center and I'm going to click new virtual machine. I'm going to give it a name. So I'm going to call it Ubuntu server, followed by next. You may remember that, of course, DRS is disabled in our cluster delivery at the moment. So I'm going to actually manually place the guest VM on ESXi 002 because it has more resources, followed by next. I'm going to select the data store, ESXi 002 _ local _ VMware 6. Just keeping an eye here now on the capacity that I've got left because already we've used 340 gig of it and I've only got 142 gig free because we've been using thick machines. So I'll click next and I'll talk about thick, thin VMs later. I'm going to make this one compatible with ESXi 7.0 U2 later because we're going to move this one. We're going to migrate it in the future via storage vMotion or vMotion to our other lab, which has got ESXi 7 on it. So I'm going to click next, and I'm going to select the template, and I'm going to select Ubuntu Linux 64-bit, followed by next. It's actually saying that we need one CPU. Now I know this. I know that the installer struggles if you have less than 4 or 2 cores. So I'm going to select 4 cores, and I'm going to go with 4 gig of memory on this, and I'm going to give the disk I don't know, let's just say 60 gig. If we have a little look at the interface, it's going to use the vMFX Net 3 interface because Ubuntu is virtual machine or VMware virtual machine aware, so it's actually already got the vMFX Net 3 driver baked into the installation media. I'm going to ensure that we connect the server ISO this time. Now remember, of course, if you've been following these videos back in part 5, really probably what I should do is I probably should actually get Edward. I should get Edward's awesome resources of the Codhead Club. So in fact, actually, it is in it's actually part 8. So part 8 shows you how to upload an ISO, not part 5. Part 5 was how to deploy and install VMware vCenter Server 8. So part 8, if you go back to part 8, you can see how I've uploaded ISOs and I've done MD5 to check that they're valid. Anyway, so let's go back. So let's actually select the Ubuntu server that we, Ubuntu 22 Live Server CD ISO that we uploaded in part 8. and I'm going to click next, and I'm going to click finish. So I'm going to go to our Ubuntu server, and I'm going to click power on, and I'm going to launch the web console. And interestingly, that didn't boot from the ISO, and that's probably because a catch here. This is a common question on Experts Exchange. I've not actually ticked connected, and I probably didn't connect at power on. So if I just basically hit, then okay, you can actually see now that that's actually booted to media. So that was a good catch to show you. As I said, you do need to hit those two buttons, connect at power on and connected. Otherwise you're going to boot straight through. It's not going to find an operating system on the disk, and if you've got boot from network involved, then it's actually going to try boot from network. And on this lab here, we have got TFTP servers to be able to basically boot ESXi remotely. So I'm going to basically just say install server. Now obviously installing a server doesn't have the desktop component on it, the GUI, so there's not going to be as many packages to install. You know, you've not got the Thunderbird, and you've not got the LibreOffice and all that jazz and all the applications, so the installation will be far quicker than installing a desktop version. And a lot of the time I've seen that the Ubuntu versions, the installers run in sort of kind of 80/50 text-based column mode rather than the full GUI, as you can see here. So I'm going to select English UK. I'm going to update to the new installer. It's always worth updating to the new installer if it's available, because it obviously sometimes can fix issues that exist in the installer. So I just basically selected update the installer. Okay, so the layout's English, the variant's English, and so done. Applying config. So I want to install Ubuntu server. I don't want to use third-party drivers, so I'm going to click done. I'm happy with that DHCP IP address at the moment. As you can see there, it's actually already says it's using the VMFX Net3 Ethernet controller, so it knows about it has the driver for the operating system. I'm going to click done. I'm not using a proxy. I'm going to click done. I'm happy with that mirror address, so I'm going to click done. I'm going to use the entire disk. Now it's already actually prompting me here, or selected set this disk up as an LVM group, so I'm going to select that. I'm going to select done. I'm just going to quickly look at, so it's actually basically set up the, there's the LVM, which is 57 gig. Free space is 29 gig, so we can actually expand into that in the future. So I'm going to click done, and I'm going to click continue. It's going to ask me for a name, so again I'm going to basically put my name in, your server's name, so I'm just going to call this Ubuntu server. Is my S key not working? Ubuntu server. I'm going to pick a username, so I'm going to use the same again. Doesn't like uppercase letters in the server name. That's what it was complaining about there, if you just missed that. And I'm going to click done. I'm going to install OpenSSH server. That just saves me installing it manually later. And I'm going to click done. And at the moment I'm not going to install PowerShell. I'm not going to install any additional packages at the moment, so I'm just going to click done, and there we go. I'm going to wait for that to finish. So whilst that's installing, configuring, installing 22.04.1 LTS jammy jellyfish, then I'll speed all this up in post so you don't have to watch it, and I'll come back shortly. Oh, I almost missed it because I was quite interested in looking at the verbose setting. You don't have to do this. There's just geek mode on, and I was just looking at the settings. The setting. I was just looking at the installation as it was installing in verbose mode, and missed the fact it said install complete at the top because I was still looking at the bottom. But I was actually basically looking throughout, and I thought there was an error at one point, but no, it was actually basically, you can see it there. It was actually basically stating that it needs to restart because the kernel currently running is 43 and it was expected kernel version was 56. So it was expected to do a restart for that. Again, you can see references to OpenVM tools, and there was also a reference earlier on. Okay, so with that, I just have to click close and I can basically select reboot now. And again, much quicker installation, less packages, no GUI. Let's just check that the media has been removed from the guest. Yeah. So I'm just going to select client device there, click OK. And this isn't going to take long to boot at all. We have actually changed the memory, the storage, and the number of VCP users for this as well. But shortly we should actually get a familiar login prompt. So I'm going to log in. And of course, it's obviously still booting and doing stuff. I think I probably got the password wrong there. Yeah, I did. Okay, so it's actually basically telling me that there's 49 updates. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to do the sudo apt updates. I'm going to specify the password for sudo update. It's going to go off basically to the repos, update that apt cache, and I'm going to special upgrade. I'm going to say yes, and it's going to go off and pull down all those packages and basically give me a nicely updated. And again, a nicely updated Ubuntu server. And again, I can look here, and it's also telling me it's running, it's guest managed. Ubuntu server is the DNS name that we specified at the beginning, and the IP address is 182.125. And if this is going to finish quickly, then I can install the ifconfig that I use to check the IP address. I don't think this is going to take very long. I'll come back when that's done. Okay, I'm back. Okay, so I don't think that I've got ifconfig. Surprise, surprise. So I'm going to do the old sudo apt uninstall net tools, and I can use ifconfig. I don't want to restart any of those services. Okay, and now we can see our IP address 192.168.182.125 matches in the guest. So that's it. How we install Ubuntu server, very quick, on VMware vSphere Hypervisor 8, ESXi 8. Okay, so come back for the next video because I'm going to show you how to install OpenVM tools in our Linux Ubuntu server and our Ubuntu desktop. And part of that video as well, we're just going to investigate Windows 11 and Windows Server 2022, and we're going to have a little look at reference to Colin Westwater's blog link article that he wrote about Windows Server VMware drivers. So we're going to have a little look at that. So it's going to be a talk about VMware tools, Open VMware tools, Windows Server 2022 VMware tools, Windows 11 tools, and focusing around the VMX Net 3 driver. So come back for that one, Again, all the best. Season greetings to you, and good afternoon. Goodbye.